All right. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Hawes? Ms. Krishnowski? Here. Mr. Liscavige? Here. Ms. McDermott? Mr. Perry? Here. Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Ms.
I'm
Stevenson?
present, Miss Lauren. I'm sorry.
Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Mr. Wilovich?
Here.
Mr. Hawes? I see you.
He said he's present.
Okay. You have 9 of 11 present.
Okay, thank you. I'll now have public comment on the proposed ordinance amending the 2024 fiscal year budget in order to deposit $530,490 into the reserve fund. Is there any public comment? Anybody on the Zoom? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. First public hearing is adjourned. Second public hearing. I'd like to call that to order. We already had the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Hawes?
Here.
Ms. Krishnowski? Here. Mr. Liscavige? Here. Ms. McDermott? Mr. Perry? Here. Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Stevenson? Here. Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Mr. Wilovich?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
9 of 11.
Thank you. I'll have public comment on the proposed ordinance amending the 2024 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County to account for budget transfers to the Office of Law Budget. Is there any public comment? Anybody on the Zoom? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second public hearing is adjourned. Final public hearing. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Hawes?
Here.
Ms. Krishnowski? Here. Mr. Liscavige? Here. Ms. McDermott? Mr. Perry? Here. Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Stevenson? Here. Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Mr. Wilovich?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
9 of 11.
I'll now have public comment on the proposed ordinance amending the Luzerne County zoning map to rezone one parcel of property totaling 7.11 acres in Hunlock Township from MI Mining District Zone to AG Agricultural District Zone. Any public comment on that? Anybody on the Zoom? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing's adjourned. We'll restart at 6:01. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody, it's 6:01 p.m. I'd like to call the voting session to order. We already had the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Recording in progress.
Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Hawes?
Here.
Ms. Krishnowski? Here. Mr. Liscavige? Here. Ms. McDermott? Here. Mr. Perry? Here. Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Stevenson? Here. Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Mr. Wilovich?
Here.
Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
You have 10 of 11.
Thank you. All right, we have no recognitions and ceremonial proclamations. Are there any deletions from the voting session agenda?
Mr. Chair, can I move to remove item number 1?
There's a motion to remove item number 1.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, number 1 has been removed. Any other deletions?
Mr. Chair, I have a deletion.
Go ahead.
Number 15, the compensation of council members. It violates 205 Section D of the Home Rule Charter.
Number 15. All right. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'm just hearing this for the first time. What is it?
Take a look at 205, Brian, Section D. The compensation for reimbursements that elected officials have to have a vote of council prior.
Yeah, I
And
believe.
I'm only saying that because I did that once upon a time years ago. And I went to a meeting and I said, hey, can I get reimbursed for that? And they said, you got to ask first.
So if we
That's all.
removed it, could it be resurrected in the future?
Yeah, I'm.
At future meetings, but not for this particular case. It's against the charter policy.
I believe that there's. Okay. Yeah, I think that there's a procedure that I believe council members have to go through in order to be able to be reimbursed for travel expenses and things like that. It is in the. I'm pretty sure Councilman Haas is right. 205B, you said, Mr. Haas?
205D.
D.
205D is in Doug.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's a motion to remove number 15. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Number 15 is removed. Anything else? Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is adopted.
Executive session.
Mr. Skeen, would you announce the executive session, please?
Prior to this meeting, we had an executive session concerning union matter and the sheriffs.
All right. Thank you. We'll now have public comment on voting session agenda items only. First, we have Mr. Griffith.
Merry Christmas, Council. You all look wonderful. I love the sweaters. Just awesome. My agenda item that I'd like to speak about is item number 3 on the modification of the Rescue Act funds awarding project for Keystone Mission. And I know we all have a copy of that contract for the Keystone Missions, and I know it's a pretty lengthy document. It looks like from the nearest calculation, it looks like they're going to pay like $3 million in rent for that, just in rent alone for the next 30 years on that property. So they only rent the building, number one. And number two is they're paying for everything that's in that building, including property tax. In that contract, if you read it, they're responsible for all utilities, all upkeep for the space that they're in, everything for the next 30 years. So I have some problems with the original contract, not that it has anything to do with your ARPA award, but particularly on the ARPA award, it says that the reason they're asking for an extension is because they reached out to children and youth on multiple occasions. I don't believe that's accurate. I know that there's been some a delay From as near as I could tell, I think they only reached out like twice to the Children and Youth Office. And I don't even believe they have, and I'm sure the manager can correct me on this one, if they have even an agreement to use that facility at all at this point. I don't believe they do. So I'm a little bit concerned about allocating that kind of money to an entity that started on March 28th of 23, and now we're going to extend it until March of 25, with the risk that if they don't spend the money, I think at the end of the year, we won't be able to use that money if we don't allocate it properly by the end of this year. So if we allocate it to them now and they don't use it, we can't get that money back, if I understand the provisions right. So keep that in mind as you contemplate extending that $500,000 to them. Possibly we could use that money somewhere else. I know it's December the 17th, so it's really kind of hard to allocate money by December 31st, but just something to be concerned with. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith.
I have a question on that.
Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I got confused along the way there. I'm sorry. So it's for the Keystone Mission, but then we were Children and Youth. That's a separate entity altogether, right, Ms. Quackamo? Like what's
Correct.
the,
They were,
what's the connection there?
the connection was that they were going to work together and join forces. I have the series of emails that were sent back and forth between the Keystone Mission and Children and Youth Services. I also want to note that Keystone Mission, as a sub-recipient, if there were issues, would have had to go through Booth, come to Michelle Sparridge, and articulate what the reasons and the delays might be. I'm not privy to their contract. That's a separate agreement. So what I can say is that there were a few emails that were sent back and forth with CYS and Keystone Mission, and there was no notification to the administration that there were any other issues.
Manager Kokomo, I think Danielle O'Keefe-Alexandra is on the Zoom right now. Do you want to have her comment, if possible?
She can.
Miss O'Keefe-Alexandra, do you hear us?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. There have been several emails back and forth over the course of a couple of months in trying to get in contact with children and youth. We have had, if I believe, 2 or 3 meetings. And then after that, things kind of went cold. In the midst of that, I also reached out again to them, I would say, the latter part of October, and a meeting was canceled from their end due to a staff having a medical procedure done. And then after that, I reached out again, if I'm not mistaken, twice. But since then, I have been in contact with the Children and Youth Administrator, and we have a meeting coming up on Friday. Additionally, the reason for asking for the extension is the elevator. They're having, I don't want to say issues, but to having the elevator installed is taking a little bit longer than expected. And I also asked the contractor that also did the work for 90 East Union, who's doing the work for 64 East Union Street, if he can be online as well to give some more information where that is concerned, since that is not my forte. Construction is definitely not my forte.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I recall when some of us were over there at the Keystone Mission, we visited. I recall when some of us visited the Keystone Mission months back, I asked, how much the rent was they're paying there. I believe the answer, and this is for Danielle, the answer was, I believe, a private owner owned that building, and he was renting to the Keystone Mission, and you were paying your rent to the Keystone Mission. Is that correct? Or Keystone Mission was paying rent to him, correct?
Yes, when 90 East Union, which is the Innovation Center, was first set in motion, there was before I came on board, there was a lease that was put in place. So yes, we are leasing that space as well.
So, Mr. Quackamo, we don't have any control over that, do we? Okay.
None.
All right. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay. Next up, we have Leslie Middaugh. You want to speak at the other public comment? Yes. Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay. All right, anybody else for public comment in the audience? Anybody on the Zoom? Anybody? All right. Hearing none, we'll now have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th, 2024 voting session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Sugarloaf Township.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt the resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Keystone Mission.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Next up, motion to adopt a resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for Road and Bridge Water Street Bridge.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes? Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Next up, motion to adopt a resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act funds awarded project for the Commission on Economic Opportunity.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Motion to adopt the resolution approving Luzerne County authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for internal county projects under the eligible category of revenue replacement. So moved. Second. There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt ordinance amending the 2024 fiscal year budget in order to deposit $530,490 into the reserve fund.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Next up, motion to adopt an ordinance amending the 2024 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County to account for budget transfers to the Office of Law Budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay. Next up, motion to adopt the resolution approving a contract with FSL Public Finance for municipal financial service or advisory services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krasinowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the county manager to execute an agreement with Johnson Controls for fire management services.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call?
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
You're breaking up. Is that a yes?
Yes, if we can hear me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Krishnowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt the ordinance amending the Luzerne County zoning map to rezone one parcel of property totaling 7.11 acres in Hunlock Township from MI Mining District Zone to AG Agricultural District Zone.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krishnowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Next up, motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to execute a lease agreement between Luzerne County and Luzerne County Domestic Relations.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Ms. Krishnowski? Yes. Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Mr. Sabatino?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, it's 6:17 p.m. I'd like to recognize that Ms. Smith has arrived. Yeah, your thing wasn't popping up, but I know you were on the Zoom. Okay. Next up, motion to adopt the resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between Luzerne County and AFSCME, AFL-CIO, District Council 87 for the court-related unit.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, who was the second?
Okay.
Give it
Yeah.
Brittany.
Who was the first, though?
I was
Mr.
over here.
Sabatino?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Liscavige? Yes. Ms. McDermott? Yes. Mr. Perry? Yes. Mr. Sabatino? Yes. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Krishnowski? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes, and it's very well deserved. All right, next up, or finally, motion to approve the 2025 meeting schedule.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Just really quick before we do approve it, I just wanted to point out one thing. I think, is it Veterans Day maybe is one of the days that falls on a meeting day? Manager Kokomo, is that a day where the county offices are closed? Okay, so we'll have to fix that. So I'll take a look at that, and we can approve the rest of the schedule tonight, but we'll take a look and change that one single date. If that's okay with everybody else. Okay? All right, there's a motion and a second. We'll just do all in favor.
Do I,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the meeting schedule for 2025 has been approved, pending that one change for Veterans Day. All right, we'll now have public comment on non-agenda items. First up, we have Leslie Middaugh.
Do I have to turn this on? It's on. Members of County Council, on behalf of all deputy sheriffs, I would like to sincerely thank you for voting in favor of our bonuses. Excuse me. Your recognition of our tireless work means a great deal to all of us. However, I would be remiss if I didn't also express our gratitude to our sheriff, our chief deputy, and our lieutenants. Not only did they propose these bonuses, but they also exemplify the qualities of outstanding leaders. On numerous occasions, they have stepped up from behind their desk to join us on the front lines, filling in whenever needed, whether it's to cover a security post, transporting prisoners, or looking us up or backing us up during an eviction. Their willingness as administrators to serve alongside us in the trenches speaks volumes about their character. With regards to our COVID testing sites, they were not only there with us the entire time, but they were also responsible for the overwhelming task for their pre-deployment planning, which was crucial to the success of our mission. Throughout the entire operations, they stood beside us, providing guidance and offering invaluable support. On behalf of all the deputies, we kindly ask that you consider providing them with a bonus similar to what was done for us, whether from ARPA funds or any other source. Any support you can provide would be greatly appreciated. Their leadership is the key reason we are able to perform our duties effectively for the citizens of Luzerne County. Thank you so very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Once again, very well deserved. Is there any other public comment? Mr. Griffith?
No, I'm fine.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience for public comment? All right. Anybody on the Zoom? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I would like to personally
go ahead.
thank the sheriffs for all the work that they do every single day for the people of Lucerne County and for the staff. They keep us safe. And they're here during the day, and then they're here in the evening for meetings. They're here on the weekends for weddings. They're here on the weekends when there's DUI classes over at Penn Place. I know that because I see them on the weekends when I come in. And they do their job with the utmost professionalism, and they care. And that begins with our sheriff, Brian Shumsky, and it permeates through the entire sheriff's department. I'm so very proud of them. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn now?
So moved.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy your couple weeks off, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. I learned from these guys.
You know that.